We're live. Okay. Good evening, wonderful people. Good evening, good evening, good evening. It's your girl Toya. Tequila Conversations with Toya. Trying to get it together. Happy Friday. Pray and hope all is well. Let me get my situation situated, because I'm not situated right now. I am really all over the place, guys. I do apologize. I am a couple of minutes late, maybe 2 minutes late with tea or tequila. Okay, here we go. And let me play it. All right. Hey, family. Pray and hope all is well. I see I have 2 viewers up here already, which is amazing. I have my friend Jason Hayward.
What's up, y'all?
With me, and today's topic is going to be about generational wealth. But before we start, of course, have to talk about the topic that everybody wants to hear about, which is basically the passing of Bashar Jackson, aka Pop Smoke, who we both knew on a different level. My heart is still grieving. And my heart goes out to the Jackson family,
Absolutely.
To Miss Audrey, Mr. Greg, and Obasi.
Yes.
Parents lost their child. A brother lost his younger brother. Family lost their friends. And it is just church family. Let's just say that. We both knew Bashar when he was about 5 to 9 years old and growing up at the church that we both attend. So I just really want to touch base, and just give my condolences, my sincere condolences. He was a sweet young man. People who knew him would vouch for that. He wasn't what you think he is by seeing what he does on the platform that he built for himself.
Entertainment.
Entertainment. He was a hard worker. He had a great heart. I said that in my post earlier. So I just want us to keep his memory alive. He was one of a kind, because honestly, for me, growing up in a hip hop, world, everyone started to sound the same in this new era, and he had a different voice.
Absolutely.
He had a different, his whole, just swag was different. He commanded, attention when he walked in any room, even before he became Pop Smoke. So I just want that to be clear and that to be known, that my heart, like I said, Miss Audrey, you know how I feel about you, sis. Obasi, you are my brother like no other.
Absolutely.
And my heart is really hurting and saddened by the loss of Bashar Jackson to us, Pop Smoke to y'all. So I just want to say, just let his family grieve in peace. And keep his memory alive, keep his music alive. I know there's music that's going to come out that we had no clue about, but definitely just wanted to give my sincere condolences on this platform, since I did build this platform for that, and I did not want to leave it unsaid, me doing this, because I didn't want to do it today. But a lot of people chimed in, called me and said, no, LaToya, you need to do it. Jason was like, okay, what are we doing? We're going to do this. And I said yes, because this is a topic that is very necessary. And the topic that we're going to talk about today is generational wealth.
Can I say about the Bashar?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
About Bashar and the Jackson family. I think when you all did the sudden death topic a few weeks back, I think one thing that, and it may not be people's plan when you say it, but a lot of times people say when people are going through tragedy, and it's not just sudden death, but when they're going through death, a lot of times people will say, I know how you feel. That's one of the most disrespectful things you can say to somebody.
Absolutely.
Because you don't know how they feel. It's kind of like a woman can't say to another woman who's pregnant, I know how you feel. No, you know how you felt.
Right.
You don't know how the person feels.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
Sometimes when you deal with tragedy, death, and things, when you don't know what to say, sometimes just be a shoulder to cry on.
That's it.
And in saying, I know how you feel, you may not mean disrespect, but you're minimizing that person's feelings.
Absolutely.
You don't know their feelings. You know your own feelings.
Absolutely.
In similar situations and circumstances, but I have a lot of brothers, right? And if something happened with one of my brothers, I'm not going to necessarily feel the same way another one of my brothers feels.
Absolutely.
So please be cognizant of what you say to people when they're grieving.
Absolutely.
Because it's important.
Right, absolutely. I've been in contact with the family, and all I've been saying is that I'm here for you. I'm praying for you. If you need anything, just let me know, because that's the most that I can basically do at this point, because I do not know that feeling, and I wouldn't know what that feeling is for me to even say something like that, So that is a good point. Like, we really need to be mindful, because a feeling is a feeling, and because it happened to you, or something else happened to you in that manner, doesn't mean you know what that person is feeling, because we all feel different when it comes down to certain things. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining in. This is Tequila Conversations with Toya, and I'm here with Jason Hayward, and we're talking about the passing of Pop Smoke, Bashar Jackson, aka Pop Smoke, Bashar Jackson to us, Pop Smoke to y'all, who didn't know him on a personal level. I know I do have a few people here up on my live now, about 26 people, and I thank you for joining in. We were just paying our respects and giving our condolences to the Jackson family, and we want to proceed on, with lifting that family up in prayer, and just being there for that family, whatever it is needed. I know our community, it's saddened, the whole community of that love Pop Smoke, and definitely our church family, the children, the Quiver Ministry. If you know about St. Paul, if you were a Quiver kid, you know what that means. Because Bashar Jackson was a Quiver kid, and running through St. Paul and on stage with Ma'afa. There's a clip of him just doing a dance, and when he's doing this, the people who know what that means. He's doing the warrior dance, and that is a dance that is sacred. Absolutely. And a lot of people are wish that they can participate in that dance, and they really. It is so powerful. It's a powerful piece that is done, that was created by Mr. Lakai Worrell, and the dance is called the Warrior Dance, and the song that is played is called Katachi. It's an African song, African dance, and it's about our young men who are warriors going off to war, and it is an amazing piece. And Bashar was amongst the few, Pop Smoke was amongst the few to learn that piece. So just thinking about that piece made me smile, made me happy, because when I saw it, I saw a different element, and it was really, really great to see that. But today's topic, and yes, please share, comment, like, let's get our views up. I want to talk about necessary conversations that we don't talk about in our community, and this one, it really hit home. Mr. Jason Hayward here is the one who actually gave me the idea to talk about generational wealth. And how he presented it to me was all of amazing. I was in awe. I was so excited. I said, wow. And did some research. I did speak to a financial analyst. She wanted to be on here as well today, but she was traveling to LA. So I told her that we can revisit this conversation again and have her on so she can give us some pointers, as an African-American businesswoman who's actually in that field, and can actually help us out where we need to be helped out. Because like Jason said to me, he said it's two things people leave you when they pass on, especially our loved ones. The main two that they leave us when they pass on, especially our parents and sometimes grandparents and loved ones, which is just basically memories and debt. How deep is that? That is super deep, because that's what's being left. A lot of memories and a lot of debt. And I'm tired of people on Facebook, especially, asking for money to bury a loved one. I think that is just so just so uncommon. Like life insurance is like what, $45 a month, if that.
It's not that expensive.
It's not that expensive for you to actually bury your loved ones, and then also, you know, be okay where either you can have a little something on the side or take care of whatever, you know, whatever dealings you need to take care of in that genre. So I'm really tired of the GoFundMe pages and people trying to scrounge up money. And I mean, listen, that's just my opinion. And, you know, it's not fact, but it's my opinion, but it's the truth, you know, and how many people, you know, do that. You know, life insurance is important. Life insurance is something I think is necessary, especially in the African-American community, because that's something that we just don't do. You know, not too many people have life insurance. The ones who do, great. My mom always told me, life insurance. That's something that I can honestly say my mom instilled in me, because she had life insurance, and it's only right that I have life insurance for my children, because like I said, tomorrow's not promised, as we see, to no one. But I'm going to let Jason kind of chime in, because like, again, this was his topic, and I'm just piggybacking off of what he said to me, he suggested, and I thought that was just all of amazing. So thank you for the ones who just joined in to Tequila Conversations with Toya. We're talking about generational wealth.
I think a part of why I brought it up is because in terms of memories and debt, I was 33 when my pops passed.
Wow.
And I went the first 26, 27 years of my life hating him. And at a certain point I wanted to kill him. And it took my relationship in church, and I was sitting in Bible study on Saturday mornings, and I kept looking up at the wall, and it said, honor your father and your mother. And I kept arguing with God. Instead of paying attention, I kept saying, I'm not going to honor him.
Wow.
I refused to honor him, and he walked me down and allowed me to honor him. So I ended up taking care of my pops for the last 7 years of his life.
Wow. To
the point where when he passed in 2010, now, a very long story short, and I say short, shorter.
Right.
So shorter, so not short.
Okay.
I'm the youngest of my pops. He stopped counting at 5 children. So I have 5 brothers, right? I'm the youngest. I'm his baby. My 2 oldest brothers are born 3 weeks apart.
Wow.
Literally.
Wow.
You will talk about that.
Okay.
After. But when my pops died, I paid for his funeral. His baby. I paid for his funeral. Nobody helped me. I paid for his funeral. And he didn't have anything when he passed. He didn't have insurance. He didn't have a will. And I was one who was taking care of him. So I paid for it. So the idea of he left me memories. A lot of them. He was a Rolling Stone, but hey,
right.
But he also left debt. And one thing that, even in looking more into this, one thing that I guess I don't know anyone's, I say this to a lot of people, I don't know people's financial capabilities.
Right.
Like, I don't want to be in anybody's pocket or anything like that. And so even me saying life insurance is not that expensive, to someone it may be.
It may be expensive, right. But you got to invest. It's
more expensive if someone passes and you don't have that insurance.
Absolutely.
So now you're paying for a funeral.
Absolutely.
Or you're getting a GoFundMe and asking people to help you out, what have you, to pay for a funeral, asking family members, what have you. And how many families, black families in general, are broken up by someone's death?
Yeah, a lot. It's too many.
And folks are arguing over, I should get this and I should get that. But it doesn't have to be. I guess something that ties into that are wills. A lot of people, a lot of us do not have wills.
Right.
Now, a part of me that thought about that is my mom gave me her will last year. My mom turns 70 this year. As a disclaimer, I know a lot of women say, you never tell a woman's age. I was brought up knowing my mother and my grandmother's age, and they don't mind their age being out there. Right. So they were always comfortable with, I'm this age, I'm that age. So my mom gave me her will. I sat on that thing for months.
Wow.
And I refused to look at it.
Wow. Wow.
Refute. Folks don't want to talk about mortality.
Right.
When it's their parents.
Yes.
So we talk on the phone, text, have you looked at the will?
Right.
Nah. I'm not looking at that thing.
Right. Exactly.
I'm not looking at this thing.
Because the reality of it is like, I don't want to think about that.
That is correct.
Because we think our parents are like superwomen and supermen. They supposed to live forever.
Right.
They got the kryptonite in them and their hair, and that's that. And that's something that we don't even want to look at and think about.
So finally, I looked at it. And I went through it and everything so she could get it notarized, what have you. And so everything would be official. So to tie all of that into the idea of generational wealth, I say to people all the time, generational wealth either starts with you, continues with you, or will end with you.
Right.
It's one of the three.
Yeah. Wow.
It's either, if generational wealth has not already begun, you're going to be the one to begin it.
Right.
If it's begun, you're going to be the one to either continue it or end it.
Right. Yeah.
Now, folks have put on, I think I saw like a meme on Facebook, don't sell grandma's house or something like that recently. And it was kind of like a joke. But when we think about the idea of generational wealth, here's the thing. And I'm speaking as a black man in this world. You think of, what do black people value the most? Now, I'm also a father, right? And I like to say I'm the first, because my son is the second and he's better than me. So I always give him his props.
Right.
But I have children. What do I want to leave my children?
Exactly.
Because the whole idea of generational wealth is, as an aside, I'm a proud landlord. I have tenants. My tenants pay my mortgage. More than my mortgage. So I now have something to leave my children.
Right.
And I say that a part of what hurts me and even allows me to challenge other people is, I've told my tenants, you don't need to be renting from me. You need to own something of your own. Because I don't know, again, anyone's financial capabilities, but if you look at it, let's say your rent is $1,000 a month, right? At the end of the year, you've shelled out $12,000.
Right.
And what do you have to show for?
Absolutely nothing.
What do you have to leave your children?
Not the apartment.
Based on rent.
Right. Absolutely.
Nothing. And so, what do we value? A lot of times, like even if you go outside, you see high-end cars. You see bags, shoes, clothing, everything that's a depreciating asset.
Right. Wow.
Homes don't depreciate depending on where you are.
Right.
You look at Brooklyn, for example, they're building everywhere.
Yeah.
So it appreciates. It can be a family getting together, buying something together, because then you now have something that you can leave to your children.
Absolutely.
Like I won't make this political. I'm not going to co-sign with the orange guy.
Right.
I'll put it that way.
Right. We're not going to say his name, the orange guy.
He was born into wealth. Where it's generational. A lot of people don't remember, but you remember Paris Hilton was wilding years ago?
Right,
And the story was that her grandmother told her, when I die, I'm going to leave you $1 million.
Right.
Survive off of that.
Right.
Because you're sullying our family name. You haven't heard anything from Paris Hilton since.
Nope, not at all.
Because she was going to be out of the Hilton money. How long is that money?
Right.
Because they have generational wealth.
Wow.
We need to have generational wealth for our own. Because do they teach us about Black Wall Street in school?
No.
They never teach you about Tulsa.
No. Wow. Y'all hear this?
They never teach you about that.
Right.
When we had our own, when we had generational wealth, a lot of families that I know, mine are from different parts of the South, right? Folks have families from the Caribbean. Folks had homes in the Caribbean.
Right.
Folks had homes in the South. But when you move north, not everybody had a home.
Right.
But what are you leaving to your children? What are you leaving to your children's children? Because I lean on Dr. King a lot when it comes to this. When Dr. King was making all of his speeches,
right,
he specifically said, I'm not going to get there with you. As a parent, as a black man, he realized it was bigger than him.
Right. Wow.
And his thing was, the work that I'm doing, the works that I'm doing are going to be bigger than me. So a part of the generational wealth is, as a parent, I think I'm less of, for me, I'm not speaking about anybody else. I'm talking about for me. Whenever God calls me home, if I've not set something up for my children and my children's children to be prosperous, I've failed as a father.
Hey, understood.
I can't speak to anybody else and how they may feel about it.
Right.
But I can teach my children, my sons and my baby girl, as many lessons as possible because they have memories with daddy.
Right.
But I don't want to leave them dead.
Absolutely.
I want to leave them something that they can profit off of. And then if they, I don't know how to work, but if it multiplied enough,
right,
and then they didn't have to work someone else's job,
right,
and then they can teach their children, and then the whole idea of generational wealth.
Right, the cycle repeats itself.
Absolutely.
You know, a positive cycle repeats itself. I have some people here that chimed in, and I see everybody who chimed in, and I thank you for chiming in. Vanessa Adams says power of attorney is needed too. And she said, I did a power attorney for my mom.
Yes.
You know, absolutely. My mom said so true. She agreed with what you were saying. Aisha Hawkins, how you doing, Aisha? What's up, sis? People need to know that the older your parent is, the higher the monthly premium. Our seniors sometimes can't afford to pay their insurance, and unfortunately it lapses. And they are afraid to tell their children, which is absolutely true.
Yes.
You know, because our parents don't tell us everything about them, especially when they're sick or going through some things. Someone else, Tara Dunn, says, it's been just about 19 years and my sisters and I are still at war over my mom's death. It's sad because now she's ill and I'm stuck with it. Oh, wow. To assist with her care plan. Yeah, suck it up and deal with it. Assist with her care plan. Thank you for all that joins in. I see I have Victor Bernard on the I don't know if you're still on, Victor, but I would like to connect with you. I love what you're doing. Congratulations to you with your podcast. And we'll talk more about that. I tune into you on every other Sunday to see what you're talking about. So I thank you for actually tuning in to see what I'm doing. I appreciate that. Glad that I came on. Thank you, Alana. I appreciate that. Yes, facts. My mother said, teach Jason. Yeah, you know, this is just basically something, an eye-opener, you know, because it was an eye-opener for me as well when he brought it to my attention. And I was like, you know what, you're absolutely right. And this conversation is definitely necessary because it's something that we really don't talk about. I mean, people get online for Jordans and buy all these Yeezys and all these other stuff. And granted, I know you want what you want for your children and for yourself. And I'm not knocking you for that. But what are you putting in place for your children? Like, what is it? You know, some type of morals and success for your child. Because we always want our children to be successful. But what about mommy? What about daddy? Like, what are you putting in place? Because if I see my mom working hard, you know, I'm going to want to work just as hard as my mom, but what can I do to kind of tweak that and say, listen, I don't want to rent for the rest of my life. You know, I'm at an age where it's like, you know, either you're stuck or you're going to go somewhere else. And I'd rather go someplace else and do more. Yes, I've done some things that I probably could have done differently, but it's never right. And it's not too late to say, you know what, I need to get it right. knowing that you want to change is the first step.
Right.
And then, okay, now what do you do about it to get it to where you need to get it to?
I think a part of, and pardon me for cutting you off.
No, that's fine.
A part of that is you hear a lot, because they do a lot of development in Brooklyn. Mm-hmm. You hear a lot of the conversation, and I'm asking people to change their thought process from this point. You hear a lot of conversation where when they're doing new construction, right? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And they tell you the price that apartments are going to be. A lot of us say they're trying to price us out of the neighborhood.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear that a lot.
No, they're not pricing you out of the neighborhood. What they're doing is they're pricing you out of being a renter.
Wow.
They're telling you stop renting. Because if they're now saying a luxury apartment in East New York is going to be $2,000, your mortgage is not going to be $2,000.
Right. Yeah. Wow.
Your mortgage is not going to be $2,000.
Wow.
I own a house in one of the houses I own in Bed-Stuy. It's a 3-family home. The mortgage there is not $2,000.
Wow.
And that's for 3 families.
Wow.
So you hear they're pricing us out. No, they're giving you the kick that you don't know that you need.
Right. Yeah.
And it's kind of a part of also. I looked a little bit of this up, and they were saying, and I forgot which I think I sent it to you, but it was in one of these researches that they did, is that home ownership now for Black people in America is worse than it was 50 years ago.
Right. Wow.
When it was discriminatory practices were legal then, in the civil rights era, where it was legal to discriminate against Black people getting loans.
Wow.
Although they may still do that now in different forms and shapes, but it's not legal anymore.
Right.
But home ownership for Black people in this country is down at almost an all-time low.
Wow. Wow.
But why is that? It's a part of, and I saw different things of, I know a lot of people who do vision boards.
I've done them.
How many people who do vision boards who rent have a house on their vision board?
Wow.
Is that something, because the vision board is something you're aspiring and working towards.
Right, absolutely.
It's that carrot that you're like, I gotta get that. And you keep your eyes on the prize until you get that.
Absolutely.
Is a house on that vision board. And the house doesn't have to be, I want this house with a white picket fence.
Right.
You may not start out with that.
Right, absolutely.
Like, I watch a lot of HGTV shows, and they talk about, I want to buy my forever house. You may not get that on the first go around.
Right.
But your first house doesn't have to be your last house.
That's right. Wow.
It's like, and I've had this conversation with my wife a lot, where people will tell you how good their credit score is, right? I, until recently, did not look at my credit score for probably the last 5 to 10 years.
Wow.
I didn't care what my credit score was, because I had equity. That the bank was not matching up. If your credit score and my credit score was the same, or if your credit score was a little better than mine, I'm going to get a loan before you will, because I have equity in property.
Talk about it.
That they'll say, well, I know he's going to pay, because if he doesn't, he's going to give us this house.
Right.
So they're like, wait a minute, we have to go with him. Right. And so you can take, once you get a mortgage, you can take a line of credit out and different things and be able to afford more.
Wow.
Because again, mortgage on average is substantially cheaper than rent.
Absolutely. Because I hear some people what I pay in rent here and what they pay in mortgage. Oh my God. OMG. It's like, if you really listen to someone and what they say that they're paying for in rent, and then what someone else is paying for monthly in mortgage, you look at yourself and rethink everything. Because I know I do. rethink everything that's going on. The people are chiming in. How y'all doing? Yes. Hey, boo, how you doing? Very educational. That's the most important thing. No, absolutely. I thank you guys. For chiming in. I appreciate that. Share, like, chime in. Like I said, this is a healthy conversation, generational wealth. This is a general conversation that we all need to have. Hey, Olivia, how you doing? I see you have up here. How much do you have to put down to own a house in New York City? Well, Jason did share with me some links, and I'm going to share it with you guys too. And this one here, this first one is New York State First Time Home Buyer Programs of 2020. And if you actually just look into certain things, you will find a lot out.
Well, let me jump in and answer that.
Go ahead, answer it.
For some, you don't have to put anything down.
Oh.
Because mortgages are refinanceable. Your mortgage rate will go down depending on how much money you're able to put down. Some people say 5%, some people say 10%. Some people don't have anything to put down. But they still take out, once you're able to get a mortgage, it's not, a lot of these companies don't predicate what you're able to put down. And so that's a detriment to a lot of people because they're like, well, I don't have such and such to put down. Okay. For everything, you don't have to have a specific amount to put down. That's where everyone is able to do certain levels of research. And the era we live in where everyone's on their phone.
Absolutely.
Or some type of, it's information right at your fingertips.
Wow. Yeah.
And so don't let how much do I need to put down be a detriment. And I say that because my wife and I were talking to a couple last weekend about them renting versus home ownership. One thing that I hear from a lot of people when it comes to this conversation are excuses. Again, for me, my children are worth more than my excuses.
Absolutely. Ooh.
Because those excuses are roadblocks from their future progress.
Ooh. Wow.
I don't want to handicap my children.
Right.
I don't want to. Somebody else may feel comfortable with it.
Right.
Now, I'm saying I don't want to in my words, and I don't want to in my actions.
Right.
And I would like for my words and my actions to parallel each other. Sometimes my actions aren't caught up to my words yet. Right. But I'd like for them to be going in the same direction.
Absolutely.
And a lot of people, when it comes to why are you renting? Why don't you own something? They'll give you excuses. And I'm not saying the young lady or the person who commented was giving an excuse, but some people will use that, well, I don't have a down payment, as an excuse.
Right.
But instead of using the excuses as something blocking you, use the excuses as a stepping stone. As you're putting them and you're stepping, and you're stepping, and you're stepping. And say, look, I need to find out more information. Okay, if I'm paying however much I'm paying in rent, what's my plan to not sign another lease? Can I partner with, like the young lady said, her and her sisters are still warring. Did she say 19 years later?
19 years later, yeah.
We talking about 2000.
Yeah. 19 years, yeah.
And so that's where my mother with this will. I read it, and there are things that everybody's not going to be happy with what I read. Right. But these weren't my wishes.
Right. Absolutely.
And you would like for someone's wishes to be made known while they're fully sane.
Absolutely.
Because you can go back and tweak a will.
Right, absolutely.
But you want everything to be there when they're fully sane. And going back to the excuses piece, stop making excuses about why you don't own. Come up with a plan to own.
Right.
Your plan may not include ownership in 2020. But don't people say, and you have 4 eyes, so you probably see better than I do it too. Don't people say,
wait a minute.
Don't people say that 2020 is the year of vision?
Yeah, 2020 is the year of vision.
So see yourself out of renting.
Yeah.
It may not happen in 2020.
Right. But the process will happen in 2020, where
you're laying the groundwork.
Right, absolutely. And it may not happen until 2021, maybe even 2022.
Or 2022.
But you put that foundation down and you started to build on that because that was how your mindset. And people have to change that fixed mindset against that growth mindset.
Yep.
Because if you have that fixed mindset, you're not going to go nowhere. You're going to stay in the position that you're in. But if you have a growth mindset, and you just listen, because all it is just basically listening to certain things and having just pretty much common sense and knowing what it is that you want to do.
Right.
You know, with your family, within yourself, and stopping that curse where because my mama didn't do it, I can't do it.
Right.
No, we got to change that.
Again, starts, continues, or ends.
Absolutely.
You have three choices.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of, listen, change is always a word that people seem to struggle over. And I contend and I argue with anybody, nobody has an issue with change. No one. Because did you wear the same clothes that you wore yesterday?
Right.
Did you wear the same underwear that you wore yesterday? No, you know what you did? You changed.
You changed. Right. Absolutely.
Don't tell me you have issues with change.
Right.
You changed.
You changed. No, that's a great way of thinking of it. Because all right. Dropping jewels and knowledge here. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I would love to be a homeowner by the time I turn 35. That's right, Olivia. Absolutely. Start the process. Hey, hi, Miss Gamble. How you doing, Velma?
No, it's a beautiful you or me.
I know, right? Maybe you. I don't know. But I call everybody beautiful, so I think that's for me. Latanya writes, hey, Latoya, I'm glad you pushed through and came on. Thank you so much. Tana, hey, Tana, how you doing? Thank you. We're talking about generational wealth for the ones who actually just joined on, who not sure what we're talking about today. We're talking about generational wealth, and Jason was just dropping some knowledge down on us. Vanessa Adama said change is good. No, absolutely, change is good. Like you said, people are so afraid to change, but they change their clothes every day. They change their underwear, and that is definitely a change. So absolutely.
And change may be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Your mother, and you've gone through birth, right? From my understanding, it's uncomfortable.
Right.
But you brought forth life.
Absolutely.
The same thing when listen, I grew up in the projects. My mom does not want it to be stated that I grew up in the projects. I grew up in the projects in Crown Heights. It was 7 buildings. My building was the smallest one. It was 22 floors.
Wow.
I grew up in the projects.
Right.
She don't want it to be called the projects, but I know what it was. And I said, when I was growing up there, and thankfully we only lived on the 6th floor, so when the elevator would go out, it wasn't too bad of a walk.
Right.
I knew from a young age, this is not what I want to do when I grow up.
Right.
I don't want to be here.
Absolutely.
I knew I didn't want to do it. You see, I got my alma mater, Grambling.
Yeah.
So when I graduated from Grambling, long story short, I started working, and I've been teaching for 20 years, right? So I don't come from a family that's well off and what have you. I said to myself, I had moved to Atlanta. My mom was like, they're hiring teachers up here. After a few years, she was, I found there were church programs happening for new developments. All of the crack blocks that they burned down buildings and they built new buildings. I was able to get one of these through a church in Bed-Stuy because there's a lot of different programs.
Right.
Find one.
Right.
And that process with them building these houses took 2 years. So it wasn't like, hey, let me get it now. No, it was a long, drawn out process.
Right, but it was a process.
Right,
and you went through that process.
You have to start somewhere.
Absolutely.
You have to start somewhere. And it may not, a lot of people will be the excuses. Well, my mama didn't. Yeah, but your mother didn't have everything that we have now.
Right.
One
Right.
thing that I challenge myself on, and I'll challenge you on, and I challenge everybody else on, we are disrespecting our ancestors because we're doing less right now with more.
Wow.
Look at the things our ancestors did. You talk about even being enslaved in this country and brought to this country, or if you want to bring it more recent into the 1900s, like my grandparents, right? My grandfather had a 3rd grade education, and he's the smartest person I ever knew.
Right.
I have multiple degrees, and I'm nowhere close to as smart as him.
Right.
I'm not going to fool myself and act like my degree means that I'm uber intelligent. No, it means I got a degree.
Right.
But they did more with less. That's why a bunch of people's grandparents had however many children.
Right. Yeah.
And this one did this and that one did that. And they were able to keep a house and function as a loving family. And hard work was in their nature.
Right.
We have so much right now, and we do so less with what we have. They made a way. They really did make a way out of no way.
Absolutely. Whereas we make excuses. And
full of them.
We make excuses, and we have the resources right here. It's just, what are you going to do to get those resources? Like, you just have to have some type of conversation and ask questions. It doesn't hurt to ask questions to know exactly what step you need to go into. Some people may not tell you, what resources is out there for you, which is fine. But then you'll find someone that will share that resource with you and let you know, okay, well, this is what you need to do if you are willing to go through that process.
Right.
Let's just be clear. There's always a process with anything that you go through. If you want to continue school, there's a process that you have to go to, right? If you want to, you want to get in a relationship with someone, there's a process you got to go through to get to that. So even if with this, getting yourself out of debt, getting yourself a home, owning your own home, there is a process, and know that there are resources out there for you to get to go through this process, I should say. Just know and just keep your head up and just say, you know what, I'm going to continue to do it. Avis Watson, hey, most important, to keep your credit clean so that you have a low interest rate.
Yes.
That is true. But, like for myself, I messed up my own credit by doing things that I didn't know. Had I known what I know now, then, of course, things will be different. But if your credit is messed up, learn how to go through things to actually get to where you need to be. Like, because sometimes we'll say, oh, my credit is bad, I'm in debt. But if you actually take the time to look at your credit score and your credit history, you probably get your own self out of debt without going through any third-party program. Because half the stuff on here is like, wait a minute, either it's gone already and you just got to build it up again.
Right.
Plain and simple. So it's just looking and seeing. Let's see. Vicky says, yes, because my grandmother left and house. Oh, shucks. I've got too many people chiming in at the same time. I'm sorry, Vicky. Moving too fast for me. I gotta get back to you, Vicky.
Vicky added on to it.
Yeah, I know. She's in the most... and at this moment, my brother is there now in Virginia. Okay, I got to go back to what you were saying, Vicky. I was waiting for my little...
While she's doing that, let me also add that in terms of, there are a lot of different programs for first-time home buyers. I know Jerome Bettis, who is a Hall of Fame running back in the NFL, he has a program for first-time home buyers, and there's a lot of programs for first-time home buyers. There's a lot of information available when you decide to make that move. And it's not a set amount of money you have to have saved up. It's not... My first time paying my mortgage, I felt liberated.
Wow.
I felt liberated that I did not have children at that time. I did not have a wife at that time. I felt liberated because I knew what I plan to do in the future.
Gotcha.
And have I made some questionable monetary decisions? Too many to name. Too many to name. Everybody has.
Right.
But I don't use that as a crutch for what's next.
Yeah.
And even in my mind is still on where I live now. This isn't it.
Mm-hmm.
What's next?
Right. Wow. Okay, Vicky, I got your comment back, and it says, yes, because my grandmother left a house to all her grandchildren. That's what's up. That's what's up. And then she says, at this moment, my brother now is in Virginia. Wow, he is there in Virginia. There are homeowner workshops every month in Brooklyn. Vanessa, let me get that information if you have it so I can just chime in. Someone else said, right, did it myself.
Where she fixed the credit.
She fixed her credit. Yeah, that's right. That's my coworker, Karen. And we talked about that too. Absolutely. Because you can fix it. Even if it's, listen, everything, if it's broke, it can be fixed. Let's just say that. So let's let you mess up your own credit, but you have to fix it up as well. If you want more. If you want to do more with yourself. I mean, if you have that fixed mindset and you want it to stay fixed, then by all means, you can have it where it's fixed and it stay fixed. But if you want a growth mindset, there's so many opportunities out there for you with that growth mindset. About family leaving a house to family. Yes, absolutely. Thank you for everybody who just joins in. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Share. Give me likes, hearts, and everything. I have Jason Hayward here with me, and we're talking about generational wealth. And it is a really important and it's a very enlightening topic. Got things just going in here with me, like, okay, what's next for me?
I'm going to tell you, and this is, I don't mind, because I'm an open book, right? For the most part. I've had a married couple, they were renting. There was a fire in their building.
Oh, wow.
They ended up coming to stay with me.
Wow.
Because where were they going to go?
Right.
I'm sure they could have found somebody else, but I didn't mind opening my doors.
Right.
When I got married, I had a different married couple who were out of their apartment renting, supposedly looking for somewhere else, but they had been pushed out.
Wow.
They were staying with me. And it's a matter of when you rent, they can put you out whenever they want
to.
And if the law says they can't, you don't know if there's going to be a fire in the building. Right. And then what? It's not the rules for being a renter are completely different than being a homeowner. Because when you have homeowners insurance, well, they're going to pay for you to stay somewhere while your home gets repaired or what have you. Right. As a renter, your landlord doesn't have any obligation to you. Right, yeah. A lot of people don't even know who the landlord is.
No, absolutely. They just know the property manager.
Right.
The people in the office.
Right.
The porters, the maintenance guys, who they pay rent to, and that's that. Hey, Ian, I see you just joined in. Hi, family. He has his family
Pardon
up
me,
here
y'all.
too.
My son called because he wants to see Daddy.
He wants to see what's going on. He wants to see what's going on. I don't blame him. Vicky says my credit score is up, but I'm having issues trying to get a mortgage. Don't know why. Help.
Absolutely, Vicky. I'll pass along. I have to look, and I'll pass along to Toya somebody's information at Chase, who should be able to help you.
That's what's up. See, that's all you gotta do is ask a question. You never know who'll be able to help. I had a young lady just inbox, which is weird. I had a young lady inbox me, someone who I don't know. I don't know her from nowhere. But a lot of people have been inboxing me for various different things, and I do share stuff that I do get. And if I get something about, apartments and things of that nature, I post it up. Something about housing assistance and things of that nature, I also post that up. But this young lady just, found it in her heart. She saw a post that I had posted, and she said to me, she says, I live in Brooklyn. I'm having a hard time finding a 2-bedroom apartment. I have a voucher, told me how much her voucher was, and says, can you help? And I'm like, well, I don't know if I can help, but I know that I can just, listen, anything that I can, and I hear, I'll give it to her. I'm all about helping. I'm helping myself as I help other people. I mean, we have to share some information. We can't keep the information to ourselves, because when we keep it to ourselves, we're not doing anything but harboring what can be a help to someone else. And I always want to, be able to help someone the best way that I can. I don't have it all by any means necessary, but there's resources out there. And if someone else is not able to get the resources that I may be able to get, let's collab together so I can help someone. So this is just basically, like, as they say, pay it forward. You know, I always see, you know, someone says actually pay it forward. Like, I do something kind for you. You don't have to do anything for me, but just pay it forward and do something for someone else. And if this is helping out someone, one or two people, it's helping myself out. I greatly appreciate it, because these are topics that we definitely need to have and we need to continue having. I did speak to a young lady who will be on maybe within the next few weeks or so. She's in California now, and she specializes in generational wealth and financing and getting to a point where you're comfortable and where you need to be. So I'm going to have her on sometime in March so we can continue on with this conversation. But I think this is all of amazing.
I do too. Let me not skirt that. May I reiterate?
Go ahead.
I am a happy and appreciative landlord, right? And I don't want people to rent. I challenge all of my close friends. Why are you renting?
Right. Yeah. Wow.
Why are you renting? If you're married, why are you renting? If you're single, why are you renting? If you have children, why blank blank are you renting? It's my conversation is always, why are you renting? You're paying someone else.
Right.
I mean, and I know I say that we all throw money away in things that, whether it be Starbucks or this and that, we all have our vices, right?
Right.
Rent is a vice for a lot of people too. Because you have no return on investment.
Right.
None. The first is going to come, and they're going to tell you, if you don't have it by the 5th, or whenever it's due, there may be a late fee. Or they may move to put you out. Your mortgage company already understands, worst comes to worst, we're just going to take the house from you.
Right, right.
But again, the idea of ownership is liberating. It's liberating. And when you I'm gonna tell you, when I got the
we have a special person that just joins in, and she says, "Teach, husband." So
I would tell you, when I bought my house when I bought my first house, right, in Bed-Stuy, I had no furniture in it.
Wow.
I was so happy that I closed on that house.
I know that's right.
I slept on the floor.
Wow.
Until my furniture came. I didn't have to.
Right.
I was liberated. I had a backyard in Brooklyn. Wow. I was liberated.
Yeah.
And going back to, I'm gonna tell you how it comes almost full circle. Because I told y'all how I felt about my pops for the first 26, 27 years of my life.
Right.
My pops was living out in Queens at the time that I closed. And his conversation was, when you get a house, I'm going to rent one of the apartments from you. And he was handicapped at this point, but he was like, he ended up renting the 3rd floor. I wasn't getting market value, but he was like, I want to rent it from you so you'll know you have a consistent income coming in.
Right.
Every month.
Wow.
And so with his retirement money, what have you, you know, he gave me something on a monthly basis. But it was towards the idea of, and pardon me again, my son keeps calling me. Too, you can't talk, okay? Because people will be able to hear you. But it was along the lines of him wanting to make amends, in a sense, even though it wasn't market value.
Right.
And even though I could have gotten market value, but that allowed me to be able to make sure I see him every day.
Right.
Make sure that he had food every day.
Right.
If he needed to go to doctor's appointments, what have you, I was able to. He was where I could touch him and what have you.
Right.
And do all of that.
Wow.
So I was taking care of him, like literally.
Like literally, yeah. Wow.
And, you know, that's the part of our parents' mortality. your parent may have to come live with you.
Right.
The older that they get.
Yeah.
And look, I'm my pop's baby. My two oldest brothers are 16 and a half years older than I am. So
yeah,
my pop was in his 40s when I came along.
Right.
So
right.
It's we don't look at the mortality of our parents, but your parent may end up having to live with you.
Right.
You may have to be your parent's caregiver.
Yeah, and I see that a lot too now, where people are actually taking care of their parents. Because that's how it happens. Who better to take care of your parent than you? But as they get older, things start to tend to be a little different. My parents are so close to me. We live right down the hall from each other. They're right there. It's like, I pass their apartment every day. They live right there. So it's like, I see my parents all the time. People are like, how do you feel about that, Toya? At first it used to bother me, but now I love it, Listen, I'd rather have them right there, right down the hall, than have them someplace else where I can't even reach them or touch them.
I would disagree with you slightly, and I'm going to challenge, because your mom is watching. I'm going to challenge all of y'all. You don't need to be right down the hall. Y'all need to buy a multifamily house, and y'all be on different floors.
But let me tell you, it's funny because when I worked for HBD Section 8, I did mention that to my mom. And I was like, Mom, let's get a 2-family house. Because at the time, I had this good city job. And, I was able to save. I had income coming in. There was resources there. Hell, I'm working at HBD Section 8. I can find where we can get this 2-family house. And Nehemiah was doing those 2-family houses at the time. And I really wanted it. But I think my mom kind of hindered me because she was like, I may not have the money to put up like you have to put up, and I don't want to. She just kind of like, I don't know what her pushback was, but it didn't make me go forward. It kind of made me just push back. But had I just said, you know what, Ma, don't worry about it, I'm gonna do it anyway, we wouldn't be right down the hall from each other. We'll be in that 2-family house.
But that's not getting on you or your mom about this, because it's common. We have to be careful in terms of who and what we're listening to.
Right, absolutely.
And it's not necessarily, it's not shot at your mom or anything.
Right.
It may be a family member who's giving the negative.
Right.
You have to, with whatever excuses, put them to the side, step over them, step on them, and proceed to what's on your vision board.
Right. Absolutely.
Is there a house on your vision board? How am I going to make this happen?
Right.
And I say that because I incorporate a lot of things, and my wife is watching, she'll tell you, I courted her, right? I know guys don't court anymore, whatever. Some guys don't court anymore, some still do. When I saw her, I laid out a plan in my mind. How am I going to get that?
Right. Absolutely.
How am I going to get that?
Right. And she's a beautiful woman. Let me tell y'all that right now.
I mean, but that's where even home ownership. How am I going to get that?
Absolutely. Have that same mindset.
Right. And it's bigger than you. You said, I'm not breaking any news. You say you're going to be a grandma, right?
Yes.
For your grandchild, they need something better.
Absolutely.
For your children, they need something better.
Absolutely.
And I said it before, I'm going to say it again. My children are worth more than my excuses.
That's right.
They just are. And yours are. And everybody watching, and everybody who's not watching won't even watch this.
Right.
Your children are worth more than your excuses, because the thought process that a lot of people say are, they want their child to be better than them. What are you doing to equip your child to be better than you?
That's right. I hear Mr. Hey, Mr. Renz, I see you chimed in. She says, I've been trying to tell my children, get the house. I'm paying too much money in the projects. Understood. Hey, Nilda. Hey, Jay. How y'all doing?
But see, that's the thing. When we go to the root of projects, and that it was a project that became the projects, right? Projects are always going to be around. There are a number of big cities where projects have been torn down, what have you. Even in Brooklyn, projects have been torn down.
Right, absolutely.
They build something else there for renters.
Yeah, right.
For people to rent.
Yeah.
They don't When have you ever seen them tear down a building where people are living to not put another building there where people are living? With the exception of Barclays Center downtown, because that's the most used arena in the country.
Right.
It's either one or two. So they're making money hand over fist with that.
Right.
But aside from that, a few blocks away, they knocked the school down. And they put in apartments there.
Right.
Because there's always someone who wants to come and rent from you.
Right, yeah.
Because the renters are getting rich. Again, the orange guy came from wealth. Look at all of these folks who came from wealth. So when you, I guess a lot of people, I call them the Icks, right? The basketball team that plays in Manhattan, I call them the Icks. The owner now inherited the team from his father. People hate the owner now, but he inherited the team from his father.
Right.
Because generational wealth. It's nearly impossible to blow billions of dollars if you're a billionaire to where you're just down to nothing.
Right.
But someone had to build that up, and then do you continue that family tradition on?
Right.
Or do you start it? I knew smelling pee in the elevator, smelling pee in the staircase. This is not what I want.
Yeah.
This is not what I want. I knew that from a young age. I didn't know how I was going to get there.
Right.
I had no clue how I was going to get there. But even with missteps that I've made, excuses that I've made, I've always listened to the voice or voices that pushed me towards the goal.
Right.
You're going to have voices on every side. Sometimes you're going to have voices in your own head.
Right, yeah, a couple of them.
That's telling you you can't do it.
But then you have something to say, yeah, you can.
Right.
Yeah, it'd be really vague.
Right.
But you got to listen.
But listen to those voices that push you towards whatever your goal is.
Absolutely. Wow. This has been a real good, interesting conversation, and I really want to continue again with this conversation within the next few weeks. This has really been insightful for me as well as for you guys. I know this was this was hard for me to come on today, but I really wanted to do it because I felt it was necessary. And I thank you guys for actually, joining and staying on. Share, like. Give me some hearts, everything. Jason is down here just dropping some knowledge and some jewels on us and things that we can, some keepsakes. He gave us a lot of keepsakes. Let me just say that. And he didn't have to, but he did because there's enough for everyone to go around. And we just have to have that growth mindset opposed to having that fixed mindset. Thank you so much, Olivia. She said, yes, love this. I appreciate you, Olivia. Not a problem.
May I add?
Sure.
If you're in Brooklyn, your house may not be in Brooklyn. If you're in Atlanta, your house may not be in Atlanta. Studies have shown that people where they're from generally don't move more than 25 miles outside of where they're from in their lives. That they stay in some proximity to. Your house may be like we moved out to Long Island. Because my wife's from the country.
Right.
And she wanted a more country feel. So now I don't hear sirens every night.
Right.
And people walking by my window.
Right.
Like I did when we lived in Bed-Stuy.
Right.
And I was cool with that.
Right.
Because I'm Brooklyn. I'm fine with that.
Right.
But again, it was bigger than me. And it was bigger than her. It's, for me, I'm happy, girl. When my children are comfortable.
Wow. Yes.
I have my own things that make me happy. Cool. I have my own selfish things. Cool.
Right.
When you make that decision, especially as a mother, to bring forth life, or if you adopt children, which I'm a proponent of. Oh, I love that. And you decide to take charge of lives. You've inherently signed an unwritten contract that you're going to work towards giving that person, those people, a better life than your own.
Yeah.
And that should give you fulfillment. In most people, it's going to give fulfillment.
Right.
Some people are like, I don't want my children to have, like my pops used to joke, when I die, I don't want to leave anybody anything. He wasn't lying.
Right. Right. Okay.
He wasn't lying. I mean, I don't hold that against him.
Right.
But for the most part, a lot of parents say that they want their children better off than them. Then do it.
Right. Yeah.
However old you are,
right.
Do it.
Right.
Even if you have no children, you owe it to yourself to know that you're going to get that tax write-off for owning a home.
Yeah.
You don't get a tax write-off for renting an apartment.
That's right. No, you don't. Nope.
You get abatements and everything else for owning a home.
Right. Wow.
Some people say that they have business in their home, so they get even bigger tax write-offs for owning a home.
Wow.
And that's just, how many write-offs the rich and wealthy get? Because they own things. So when you see a billionaire throwing money around and you're like, oh, they're so charitable. No, it's a tax write-off.
Tax write-off. Got it.
They're writing that stuff off. Why can't we play the same game?
Right. Yeah.
Why can't we profit off the exact same thing that they are?
Yeah.
It's there for you.
Right. Absolutely. Wow.
They don't monopolize it to just be theirs.
Right.
They say, hey, if you want to get in and get you a piece of the pie, go ahead, get you a piece of the pie also. Everything can be copacetic. But
right.
It's generational wealth. I'm passionate about it because I want my children to have more than me.
Right. Absolutely.
And I look at them now and I will openly say they're better than me.
Wow.
Are they smarter than me? No, not right now.
Right.
They're going to be. I'm talking about things I'm aspiring to.
Absolutely.
Because Dr. King was all about aspiration. Not about I may not get there with you. He knew that.
Right.
It didn't stop him from doing what he did.
Wow. Look at some few comments that I have right here. I have Ameka. She says, this was very informative and a much needed forum. My child is more important than my excuses. Really is a powerful statement. Absolutely. Yumika says, my landlord said you can stay in that house as long as you want.
Of course you can.
But renters 2-year plan to buy a home. Absolutely. Vanessa Adamas says lots of tax write-offs when you have a business and when you have a home. Absolutely. Hey, Robin, Gray Bishop, how are you, beautiful? Praying, hope all is well with you and your family. Thank you for joining in. Yeah, he said, hey, Keith.
Elder Keith.
Yeah. Pray, I hope all is well. We're talking about generational wealth, and Jason is just really dropping some jewels down and some knowledge to us. And this was just like, again, I can't thank you enough for even just taking the time out, just saying, you know what, just stopping me in church and said, this is what we should talk about. This should be your next topic. And I was like, you know what, it is. And we came up with a date, and that was that. I took 2 weeks off, and this was so necessary. This is like, every conversation I have are necessary conversations, because that's why I wanted to build this platform, to make sure we have these necessary conversations. And this one right here is an ongoing conversation. This is another topic besides the mental health piece that I still want to continue. I'm going to have a young lady that's going to come and talk about mental health. We're going to do that sometime in March, and then we're going to continue again with generational wealth. You wanted to say something, Jason?
Excuse me, one of the things that I was thinking about this, that it tied into a number of things that you all have already spoken about in terms of sudden death. You don't know when anybody's time is coming.
Right, absolutely.
In terms of, y'all talked about friends, right?
Friendships,
You can go into home ownership with a friend.
Yeah, right.
You all can pool money, because we're in Brooklyn. How many people have roommates?
Right.
They'll find a roommate on Craigslist.
Absolutely. They sure will. Absolutely.
A complete stranger.
Yeah, absolutely.
On Craigslist. You can go into home ownership with a friend. But go in with a plan, get the right lawyers, what have you.
Right.
That way your money is going somewhere other than rent.
Right.
a rent check is you burn money.
Right.
And it tied into a number of the topics that you did, because the idea of family, the idea of friendship, and sometimes your friends are your family, sudden death, because we don't think about the mortality of our parents.
Right.
Nobody thinks about the mortality of their parents.
No.
Your parent could be home from hospice.
Right.
And you like, they gonna beat that. My pops went to the hospital, had a heart attack. They called me, said, do you want to revive him? Well, they called his oldest brother, and he said, why'd you call me?
Right.
Jason has that power.
Right. Wow.
And you don't know when that time is coming.
Right.
So it tied into a number of the topics that you all had done before. It's important.
Yeah, it's
wills are important.
Yeah, life insurance is important. Wills are important, and just investing into yourself. You really need to do that. Wow, this has been real. This is heavy. This is good stuff. Like heavy in a good way.
I'm challenging myself while I'm talking.
No, absolutely.
I'm not just challenging
you. No, absolutely.
Watching. Right. I'm challenging myself because when I guess something I haven't said, when you talk about generational wealth, again, starts with you, continues with you, or ends with you. What am I teaching my children about it?
Right.
Because I have to teach them how to continue.
Yeah.
And not just stop. Right. Because I don't want their memories of me to be, yeah, we had a great time with daddy, and then let's blow this house.
Right. Right.
Or, like a number of parents will leave their children money. Or if there's an insurance policy, how fast do we blow money?
Right. Yeah.
I've known people to blow tens of thousands of dollars.
Right.
In a week.
They blow it before they even get it. Before it even gets in their hand, they blow it. Because they already know what they're going to do with it when they get it. Especially when they're expecting it and they know what's going to come. They've already pinpointed what they're going to buy, what they're going to do, where they're going to go. And before you know it, the money is gone.
Yes.
And you ain't invested nothing.
Right.
Nothing.
In investments, properties. Your first house may not even be a house that you live in. Your first house may be an investment property.
Right. Yeah.
And you may be like, okay, well, I bought a one-family home, but this really isn't for me and fit my lifestyle. But I can rent this out, and while I'm renting it out, I can pay my rent, save. Next year, we revisit this.
Right.
Buy what I want.
Right, absolutely.
But see, when you buy what you want, you don't even have to get rid of what you already have.
Right. Yeah. Wow.
That's an addition to. And you see where you now have those two can be on the same mortgage.
Right.
You're no longer renting.
Right. Yeah.
And then it makes even more sense because now, okay, I have a house to leave to this child.
Right.
Absolutely. I have a house to leave to that child.
Right.
So ain't nobody fighting over anything.
Right. Wow. Yeah.
Families, black families, will fight.
Right.
Over what's left over.
Yeah.
We don't have to.
We don't have to. Absolutely.
A will is important. Generational wealth ties into that. People, if you do vision boards and you're renting, you need a house on your vision board. Not because I said so, because you deserve that for yourself.
That's right. Wow. And you know what is crazy? Because I did the last vision board I did was in 2017, and it's in my bedroom. And I said, this is the year that I wanted to do my vision board. So I said, I got to do it because I did it last year in February. And it's February now. I mean, 2017. Long story short, everything that I put on my vision board, everything came to pass. Nice. But what I didn't put on my vision board was that house.
Why not?
I don't know.
But that's not just a question to you.
Right. I don't know.
That's a question to everybody.
Because, and then the thing about with vision boards is I don't want people to always just put stuff up. Oh, I want. It's a little at a time. You know, and I've noticed that. And that's what I did with my vision board. I put a little bit up, you know. I wanted certain things and I wanted to accomplish certain things within that year. And I can say that I honestly did that within that year. And it was for me. You know, so with doing my next vision board, I have to be real conscious of what I put up there and how I do it. Like I did for this year, I said I wasn't gonna do New Year's resolutions because you in January 1st you say you're gonna do X, Y, and Z. By January 15th, you done fell off the wagon already.
That is correct, right?
So I said I'm gonna do monthly goals for myself. And January, my monthly goal for January was just basically try to stay on track as far as with my finances is concerned.
Okay.
And I did great in January. But then when February came in, I kind of fell off a little bit, but I said no. And then I said for February, this is what I wanted to do. I wanted to try to kind of clean up and get back on track. And I'm actually doing that.
Right.
You know, so I'm like, you have to really start setting yourself where I have to have that growth mindset because I do want more for myself. I do want more for my children. I do want more for my family, and I want to leave that legacy, you know, and whether that legacy may not even be, being a movie star or anything like that, but it's me saying, you know what, mommy have this house. This is a family house here, and I have something to look forward to.
Right.
You know, so this is dope. Thank you. I was about to say this is dope, but and then you say this is dope, like it was like I looked at it and said, wait a minute, say this is dope, you know. It kind of puts your mindset in different perspective, and that's what we need to do, especially as they say, the minority, and we're the majority. Let's just be clear.
Yes. Let's
just be clear about that we are.
I dream big.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know anybody else's prayer life or relationship with God, but for me, everything is attainable.
Yes.
And God answers prayers that you haven't prayed.
He sure does. Mm-hmm.
God blesses you above the prayers that you have prayed.
Right, absolutely.
Because you can pray all you want.
Mm-hmm.
You really don't know how to pray to God for everything that He has for you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because our minds are small.
Right. Right.
And whatever you aspire to, God has something bigger than that for you. Are you working towards it though?
Yeah. Yeah.
So even if you create a vision board, you know you can still put more things on that
there.
Vision
Absolutely.
board.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You could stack that thing. Stack it.
Absolutely.
But some things, and be careful in who you share things with. At the same time, even though you may share things and people may attempt to get in the way, if God has that for you, that's going to be yours.
Absolutely.
You can't. There are things that I would like and things that I've said to my wife, and she's like, "What? God didn't say that to you."
Right.
He spoke it to me.
Right.
That means I'm going to work towards this happening. Dream big, but also work big.
Right. No, absolutely.
Like people speak, and I know time is people speak on having multiple sources of income. Me being a homeowner is going to allow me to retire earlier than I should retire.
Got you.
And if you have a multifamily home, you too.
Yeah.
And then you're able to teach your children, this is what we're going to do. And then you can get one and you give. So instead of the parent who puts this bill in their child's name, they're now teaching their child, we're going to put this mortgage in your name.
Right. Wow.
So no, I'm not going to mess your credit up at 8.
Right. Right. Yeah. Let's talk about it. Yeah, definitely.
I'm going to set you up.
Right.
At 8.
That's right.
And then when you're 18, babe, this is what I've been doing. My mom, let me tell you something. I moved out of my mother's house in 99, 2000, something like that. She moved out the projects soon thereafter and bought a house.
Right. Wow.
And I was like, well, you kept us in the projects. That ain't right. But now it's taught me to do things completely different and to now aspire, my wife and I, and then our children, and keep building.
Yeah. That's right.
Dream big and work bigger.
Right. Absolutely. Well, guys, I thank you so much for just staying on with me and just listening and just sharing. I truly appreciate you. Ola, you see, I started this journey at 23 and God has truly blessed me. Absolutely. Amen to that. we're gonna sign off in a few. I just want to say thank you for the people who actually stayed on and listened and just dropping jewels. I know a few people did call me, and I had to delete you because I was on live, but I will definitely call you back. So I couldn't answer and be on live at the same time. You know, they don't allow our phones to do that as of yet. But I do thank you for that, Jason. I thank you. And I would love to have you up here again, and we can continue this conversation, because I believe it's so necessary for us to have these conversations. And as you really enlighten me a lot to say, okay, LaToya, there's more that you can do. There's more that you can be doing. And there is more that I have to do. Me too. You know, it's more that I have to do. I mean, I don't stop now. I just have to continue to move on and go on. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you. Thank y'all. Thank you guys for being here with us again. We, you know, our condolences to the Jackson family. Absolutely, you know, rest in power. Yes. To Bashar, to us, Pop Smoke to y'all, and we'll definitely be in touch again. Please, again, just continue to do what you've been doing, and I thank you guys for always supporting me and supporting what my vision is with Tequila Conversations with Toya. And I just want to have these necessary conversations where we can continue on to just build and learn and grow and have that growth mindset opposed to having that fixed mindset. So this is your girl Toya signing off. Peace and blessings to you. Have a great weekend and a wonderful upcoming week. I know there's some things that I have planned that I need to do for myself, and I need to get myself out of this rut, because that's not what my life is entailed of right now. So again, share, hearts, likes, love, continue the conversation, and peace out. Peace and blessings to you guys.
God bless.